are ready to kick things off. The Elite title is on the line. A 4-way elimination match. There is Kenny King along with Johnny Goodtime, Brian Cage, and Anthony Nese. This should be one exciting matchup, Disco.
A big spot fest is what I like to call this thing.
Well, that should mean a lot of fun for the fans. You know, a guy like Kenny King, he's not a spot fest kind of guy. He's a good wrestler.
Oh, come on.
You know, Anthony Nese, he's the wild card. He's that risky kind of guy who's willing to maybe take 3 or 4 to get that big one.
And what about Brian Cage, who had travel issues?
Travel issues.
Being forced into a second match here.
That's right. But
what
he ended up being victorious. Kenny King, the pride and joy of Las Vegas. As we have said many different times, Disco Inferno,
I would argue that.
The most popular man in Las Vegas wrestling history.
Well, maybe he was.
From Las Vegas.
But since I've lived here now and I've been here for like 5 years, it would be hard to convince anybody with a brain that Kenny King is more popular than me.
Well, then you must be on a different planet, Disco Inferno. If you were at the TNA show a few months back at the Orleans, not only was there some FSW chants breaking out, there was the big Kenny King chant because all the Las Vegas people were excited to see the hometown hero make good. And, of course, he lost to Chavo that night. But,
of course,
you know, things being said, you know, he was probably out partying with the crew beforehand and didn't have his
beforehand, right? Probably.
I don't know. It looks like he's mocking Brian Cage.
Well, that's pretty stupid because Cage obviously is bigger than he is.
And I'll give you a little stat you probably don't know, Disco Inferno. About a year and a half ago, these guys had one singles match over in PWG in California, and Kenny King broke the nose of Brian Cage.
Did he really?
That is absolutely 100%
Well, I sure
true.
hope that Brian Cage gives him a receipt and breaks his nose right back.
So I know that Brian Cage has been eager. When we were talking about it, he was all excited, wondering if he was getting Kenny King in the first round. So obviously he remembers it well.
Yes, he does.
But look at the athleticism. Beautiful leapfrog. Kenny King just showing Brian Cage a little about what he's all about. You know, nothing's happening here where he's going to pin Brian Cage, but he's just trying to show a little prowess.
Right.
You know, show Brian Cage, whose style has changed up a little bit since he's bulked up. You know, he was a guy who was a pretty big high flyer back in the day. Nice drop kick, and Johnny Goodtime blind tags him in. One half of the Rock Nest Monsters. Outstanding job defeating Sin Bodhi.
Yes, he did.
Who hopefully you don't have to see again.
Boy, you were sure ecstatic about that. I don't think I've ever seen you celebrate a victory in FSW more than you celebrated that one.
There was no doubt about it. Look at that
double
nice stomp to the back of the head. Johnny Goodtime, 1, 2.
Boy, I'll tell you what, the Kenny King sure looks like Vegas' worst wrestler at this point. Would you agree with that?
Not at all. Johnny Goodtime's coming in, fresh as a daisy, looking impressive, trying to show the FSW brass that not only is he a quality tag team wrestler, but he is also a guy that you could put in and make him an elite champion. Give him that opportunity.
Well, of course he's been given the opportunity because he wins the matches to qualify for this event.
And there comes Anthony Nese, a man who we see attempt numerous high-flying maneuvers. Some worked, some didn't. But the bottom line was, at the end of the day, he got the victory.
Yes, he did.
But
he's definitely your definition of high risk.
Possibly the biggest high flyer we may have had here in FSW. He loves using those ropes like that right there. Beautiful move into an arm drag.
Boy, it's an awful lot of effort to work yourself into an arm drag. Would you agree with that?
I would agree, but I'm thinking he was probably trying something different. Goodtime got out of the way, and that's
well,
what
why
it led
would you
to.
try something different where if you screwed up, it's a colossal failure?
We got Goodtime with Nese inside the ring, and obviously you see King and Kenny King and Brian Cage, you know, battling on the outside. What happens with them? Oh, nice drop kick by Anthony Nese, who already early on in this matchup is proving about that high-risk type of offense that I know you're not very fond of.
I will say this, that if Anthony Nese spends more time in Vegas and decides that maybe professional wrestling is not his deal, that Guy La Liberté, the creator of Cirque du Soleil, would be interested in using a guy with this type of skills. Would
Look
you agree
at this,
with that?
the corkscrew over the top. Kenny King getting high risky here in this elite title match as he takes out
It's a car crash.
all the other participants. Samstown Live, survival of the fittest. The Elite title is on the line. 4-way elimination match.
That's a car crash. That's like that spot right there. We call that a car crash backstage. It's like a car crash. I mean, just like a wreck, you know.
And Kenny King, he tosses in Goodtime. He's trying to pick off one of the guys that he injured.
Did you ever see Dory Funk Jr.?
Look at this. That's very, very impressive by Johnny Goodtime. Looks like he's doing up and overs, but kicks Kenny King right in the chest.
I don't really know exactly what he did. He did a lot of stuff there to end up kicking him in the chest. Like, you know, a guy like me that doesn't want to exert any unnecessary energy, I would have walked up to the guy and kicked him in the chest, you know?
I understand. You know, nowadays a lot of guys trying to get a little flashier than maybe necessary. And I know you.
Guys, I'll tell you what. You know, let's be honest too. A lot of these guys think like a guy like me. You know, kind of like maybe like old school. You know, that doesn't work and everything. But I'll tell you what. All right, I'll take old school over new school any day of the week because it's still sports entertainment, Joe. Okay, and when everybody is doing this, you don't really particularly look that entertaining when you do it. If everybody else is doing it, would you agree with that?
All right, but look at this, Brian Cage. Once
Kenny,
again,
yeah, Kenny King was trying to fight it too. Did you see that?
The suplex, 1, 2, and I understand what you're talking about, old school, new school. You know, here at the FSW training facility, there's times Kenny King's here, there's times Disco Inferno's here, and you try to make it a little more simpler. You try to go back to those old school roots, while Kenny likes to incorporate some new styles and new ideas.
No. So let me phrase it differently for you, okay? When a guy like me is just more naturally entertaining than these guys, okay, I don't have to exert as much effort to entertain the fans.
Well, that's your opinion.
Whereas when you're not a natural-born entertainer, you have to exert yourself physically and risk more things to entertain the fans. And that's what it all comes down to. I mean, bottom line, Joe, I don't care. You got these 4 guys in the ring. They're all great competitors here in FSW, and people pay decent money to see these guys, and they watch the show and everything. But you can't convince me that your wrestling fan over the years would rather watch a match like this than instead watch, say, for instance, the Disco Inferno wrestle the Honky Tonk Man.
Well, I'd be interested to maybe see Disco Inferno versus the winner of this match.
Okay, well, let's make it happen, Joe, because I could beat these guys with my eyes closed.
You're telling me you think you can beat a Brian Cage or a Kenny King or an Anthony Nese or even a Johnny Goodtime?
Did I stutter with my eyes closed? Okay? When I put myself, when I exert myself and put my passion into professional wrestling, Joe, I'll be honest with you, there's nobody in FSW right now that can compete with me, okay? All I have to do is train hard, eat right, and prepare properly, and I rise to that level, okay, above these guys. And I can do that at the drop of a hat.
And Brian Cage goes over the top, but Kenny King is right there.
Yeah, see, when these guys do these moves, you know, you notice they'll do things, and when the spot's over, when everything's all said and done, they get this confused look on their faces like they don't really know what to do next or what's going on. See, look. See, like Anthony Nese, just you flip the guy over the ring and stand there like blind. They really know what to do.
And look at that. That's a good move by Nese. He tripped him up. And look at this. Moonsault off the second rope out of nowhere. 1, 2, and a kick out by Johnny Goodtime.
Well, I sure would love to see Anthony Nese perform an O at the Bellagio.
Is that right?
I think he'd be pretty good at it. Would you agree with that?
I think he probably would also.
I mean, let's be honest.
He's a guy, look at this. Very, very impressive move right there. But Goodtime catches him, drops the knee. Very impressive.
Nice combo.
1, 2. You know, and sometimes maybe these guys just need to maybe clean it up a little, Disco, because the talent is obviously there. Maybe they're outthinking or trying to outthink the opponent, and
they're trying to do too much. They're trying to do far too much.
And look at that, Johnny Goodtime. Oh, nice move by Nese. And the big kicks. And look at that, he hangs on to the top rope. Or he would have been crashed out on the outside. 1, 2. And Goodtime's able to kick out. But nice power by Anthony Nese as he just throws him into the turnbuckle. Once again, 1, 2, 3, and he got him.
Huh?
First to be eliminated, Johnny Goodtime.
And we are down to 3. Anthony Nese Kenny King and Brian Cage. And
See,
here's Anthony Nese, and look at this, over the top.
Let me ask you, make a statement here. Another high-risk maneuver that really didn't accomplish that much because those guys were out of it already on the ringside, is that it's hard for the fans to digest a match of this length with these type of moves. It's like if you wrote if you like doing a review of this match and wrote it down what happened in this match, how long would it take you to read?
Probably a pretty long time. A
lot longer than Eugene versus Rush, per se. Would you agree with that?
I would say absolutely.
But what would be a better read in your opinion? Rush versus Eugene, would that read better than this?
Well, it's a more condensed version. If I read what happened in this match, I think I'd be pretty interested to check out the match. Seemed like a lot was going on.
Right. I'll tell you, but a match like this, okay, with four guys that basically with the same type of skill set, the same type of philosophy, okay, a Disco Inferno would be a good addition to this match. Three guys like that with a wrestler like the Disco Inferno, a sports entertainer. Would you agree with that?
I agree in a way because if we talk, and look at this. This looks like it's going to be dangerous.
Oh, of course it does.
And a power bomb suplex, and Brian Cage, 1, 2.
No, he didn't get him.
Cage trying to get somebody. 1, 2. And Nese is able to kick out. Good thing you mentioned we had 4 matches in the last few weeks in the Elite Title Tournament, and many people, despite what I'd like to believe, a lot of people seem to enjoy the Sin Bodhi Goodtime match the most.
Right.
Because, as you said, the styles were totally different.
Right, exactly.
And a lot of people put over, wow, that was a really good match. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Sin
yeah,
Bodhi
because,
was
right, because you had this bias towards Sin Bodhi because you don't like the guy. But you were trying to discredit what the guy did.
Because
he's a Joe, throw everything out, all your opinions about what these guys and who you think are good wrestlers. Would you agree that Sin Bodhi is a qualified and entertaining sports entertainer?
I would say he is. Yes.
Okay, thank you then. That's all that really matters.
It's kind of like a football game. It's like, do you just want to see two teams, whoever scores last wins 60-56, or do you want to see a team with great defense take on a team with great offense,
right,
and see who's going to break first,
right?
And I guess that's what it was in these matches. That Cage and Funny Bone and Yuma and Nese. It was a million miles an hour, and bottom line was the guy who made that big mistake was going to lose.
Right, exactly. You knew what the outcome was going to be. The first guy that screwed up was going to lose the match.
And look at this, Brian Cage looked like he had Kenny King pinned.
And he's winded because of the travel situation, because you screwed up his travel and gave him a terrible flight, and he arrived shortly before the show started. Actually, arrived after the show started, Joe, and that was your fault, Joe. That was your fault, Joe. Okay, admit it. That
really
you kind of screwed and laid that and stacked the deck against Brian Cage here, who, because of his size, would be my pick to win this match.
And not that he's had a ton of time, but the bottom line is Brian Cage looks a lot better right now
than Kenny King. Yes,
I'm saying he looks a lot better than he did in his first round match. He squeaked by barely, but he looked like he had a lot of issues in different parts of the match. But right now, Kenny King spinning heel kick.
Yeah, he's all right. Kenny King, he goes down to school and tries to train the guys and everything. And some of the guys,
spine buster, 1, 2.
And the guys pull me aside privately, and they say they don't really appreciate or like what Kenny King was teaching. They'd rather learn from me. That I have these conversations with the wrestlers and all. Did you agree with that? I mean,
no, I don't agree with that.
Like you think I'm lying.
People say, please, Joe, can we get Kenny King down a little bit more?
Really?
Love to have Kenny King.
Who said that?
Oh, numerous guys.
Did Greg Romero say that to you?
Greg Romero did not say that. Look at that. Cross body off the top. 1, 2. And Anthony Nese tried to steal a pinfall.
Boy, he's kind of out of gas here a little bit. Why is he so out of gas?
Looked like he was resting. A little mule kick by Nese.
Like he was resting.
And he goes up, but Kenny King catches him.
That's a good throw. That's okay. I gotta give Kenny King credit there. When you get a guy,
the big discus clothesline by Brian Cage. And this elimination match, it was tags for the first fall, but right now it's turned into a 3-way dance. So it's okay that all 3 guys are in the ring, and we're still in elimination style.
Yes, we are.
Nice athleticism by Anthony Nese. And that's one thing he brings to the table, Disco Inferno. He may do some crazy stuff, but there are times he gets out of situations that you don't think are possible. And he's going up top, but not moving quick enough. And here comes Brian Cage as Nese shoves him off.
Oh, nice, Brian.
1. No. And he's got him up.
Ooh!
And he throws him turnbuckle first, and he's got him up.
What was that? Holy smokes, what a move!
1, 2, 3.
Atta boy, Brian Cage. Awesome.
Face first, he caught Anthony Nese trying a high-risk maneuver.
And now all he's got to do is take care of Kenny King, and my pick will win again, Joe.
Well, there you have it. We are down to the final 2. Small package, 1, 2.
Oh.
That would be some way to end this match for
cheap
Brian
way.
Cage.
Cheap way.
Going for the bridge, 1, 2. And Kenny King knows that Brian Cage, his situation, a little winded.
Oh, there we go. He caught him now. There we go, Brian.
This
He's
could
done.
be it. 1, 2.
Oh, how'd he kick out?
And Kenny King barely kicks out of it.
I don't know how he did that.
Looking to crown a new Elite Champion. This is a toss-up. It could go either way. Brian Cage, Kenny King, even Anthony Nese. We all seen him in TNA over the past year, and they are here in FSW. They are battling to become the new Elite Champion. And look at this, Kenny King.
Oh, he caught him. He caught him.
Brian Cage has got him. And he dropped him, but it looked like he landed on his knees, not the full impact disco. 1, 2.
No, he didn't get him. Boy, Kenny King is out of gas. I told you this guy was a bum, Joe. I told you Kenny King was a bum. And you keep trying to say he's the most popular wrestler in Las Vegas.
There is no doubt about it.
You're
Disco
a jerk.
Inferno.
Don't continue to say that,
Stop
Joe.
being jealous.
I'm not jealous of this guy, all right?
You know, he was the heavyweight champion here, the first one ever in FSW.
There we
now
go.
He's looking to become the Elite Champion. And look at this, getting up wasn't the best decision for Kenny King.
All right, atta boy, Cage.
1,
Hooked away.
2, and he pulled him
What
out.
are you doing, Cage?
Brian Cage has not had enough of Kenny King.
What is he doing?
This guy must have got a second wind and then thinks he could just put away a man of this stature. Not a smart move.
No, it wasn't. What are you doing, Cage?
How about they count to 3, and then if you feel like beating him up for breaking your nose, you would do that.
This is what this is all about. He wants to break his nose and beat him, huh?
Obviously, he wants to humiliate Kenny King in front of his hometown fans.
For breaking his nose.
Well, that could have been this could be the biggest mistake in Brian Cage's life.
Oh, no.
And look at this, the double knees. And Kenny King's got him up for the royal flush.
Oh,
and
my
down
goodness.
he goes. Could
Come on.
be 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
Can you believe
for
it?
God's sakes.
And look at the crowd go crazy. Kenny King is the new Elite Champion because Brian Cage obviously was not thinking and did one of the most idiotic moves in wrestling, and you have to agree, Disco Inferno, that he pulled up Kenny King.
Yes, he did. I don't know what he was doing. What a stupid idiot. I thought Cage was smarter than that, Joe.
Well, we have learned tonight that he is not.
Well, I'm disgusted at this, and first of all, I just want to say that the Elite title is definitely not the Legends title. Okay, it doesn't compare to the Legends title, and Kenny King is definitely not a worthy champion, in my opinion. Okay, so right now the Elite title, it's a tarnished belt, Joe. In my
Right now
opinion.
we have the new Elite Champion, most very prestigious title here in FSW. Kenny King is our new champion.
But I've got to go, Joe. I can't watch this anymore. This is disgusting.
And that is going to wrap it up in this match. Kenny King, the new Elite Champion here in FSW. Another episode of High Octane for Disco Inferno, who's bailed out of the booth. We will see you again next week.